Welcome back. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Glad you made it. It's another social production. That's right, we're doing it on Friday, March the 29th, 2024. You beautiful motherfuckers out there, you sons and daughters of bitches out there, you distant relatives, cousins, mi familia, the syndicate, the global syndicate that we are, the conglomerate that we are. Globally speaking, that is, wherever you're tuning in from, if it's your first time, buckle up, buckle down. Where can you find these videos? On Instagram, dropped on Wednesday and Friday. Where else? On YouTube, also on Wednesday and on Friday. Where else? On patreon.com/RobSadra if you'd like to fiscally, financially support the show. Where else? That's pretty much it. Instagram, follow me there. Subscribe on the YouTube channel. Go ahead and do it right now. I'll wait for you. No, I won't. Psych. But do it anyway. Check out patreon.com/RobSadra once again if you'd like to fiscally, financially support the show. And yes, it is Friday. Thank you if you've been with me from the get-go, joining me once again. You know who you are, the true day ones, and the ones that are joining right now as well. We are growing. And again, tell your friends, tell your family members, and we're here to have fun. That's all we do around here. So I hope you're doing well wherever you're tuning in from. If it's Toronto, Canada, what's going on? Wagwan here in the greater Toronto area. Ontario, over there in Vancouver, all the way to over there in Nova Scotia, Quebec. Alberta, Edmonton, what's going on in Nunavut? Hello, Alaska, over there in Antarctica, down south in the United States, further down south, Mexico, South America, over there in Africa, over there in Asia, Europe, New Zealand, Australia, Papua New Guinea, Caribbean Islands, Zimbabwe, Singapore, wherever else you're to, Italy, France, Spain, Ireland, Wales, Norway, the Finnish people, the people from all over the place, essentially. What's going on, you beautiful, sexy sons and daughters of bitches? Today we're here this Friday. We're gonna have some fun. It's gonna be a loose day because Friday, and your boy's just gonna keep it loose. We're gonna talk about one thing and one thing only. Now, if other things should, well, we'll see how many things we get into just from one thing. Because that's the way I like to take it today. Talking about one thing and one thing only. It's Friday. Friday, backshots are made for you and me. Backshots are made for you and I. Backshots. We're here to talk about backshots, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me. What are backshots, you'd ask? Thank you for asking. Glad you asked. Let me get a sip of this bad boy right here. Before backshots, we always had front shots. We're talking about mating, human mating habits, classic missionary, peen to vag. And we used to do that from the dawn of man. No, from the dawn of time. From the dawn of time and man. From the orally speaking, oral traditions, because we didn't have time. We came up with it at one point, but like before we figured out time. From the dawn of civilization, there you go. That's something everybody can agree upon. And when was that? Who knows? Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years ago, we're here. But that's the thing. We used to do a vag to peen, peen to vag, and that's a front shot. That's when you go straight up, or either, your male lays on top of the female, tries to lay a couple of eggs, or the female gets on top and tries to ride her mate like a cowgirl. And that's a front shot. But not quite though. It's not just the riding. It's not just, people used to deposit their sperm in the vaginas. And that's not a shot. That's the deposit. That's a deposit. I don't want you to be mistaken as to what that is. That is a deposit. You're inserting, you're making you're dropping something off. That's not quite the way it goes. A shot is essentially when you pull out, when you're in the midst of the sex and when you're about to burst, fellas. When you don't nut inside, that is called a shot. Now, you had front shots, classic front shots that land on the belly or anywhere else, and we'll get into all that as well, but we're here to talk about back shots. So today, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people are like, oh, how do I get the perfect back shot? What even is a back shot if I don't, and let's get into it. The back shot is typically, you need two individuals to perform a back shot. Not that you can't do it on yourself or to yourself or by yourself. It's extremely hard. Did I pull it off? Many years of training, resistant training, sleep deprivation, exposing myself to extreme temperatures, going to the highest of locations on planet Earth, and then taking the deepest of dives into the depths of the ocean, trying to give myself a back shot, speaking, telepathically with animals who practice backshots on themselves. Didn't really get any success, but it was interesting to see monkeys to fool around, because the tail does help. It's easier to do a backshot if you've got a tail, because it's just more maneuverability, if you will. You could contort your body in ways which makes it easier to give yourself a backshot. But it typically does take two individuals. You do need one individual to have their back to the other person. You can't go back to back shots. That will, again, not impossible. I don't want to limit people. I don't want to put us in a box. Back shots, you could do it. Literally, and we'll get into it. But the easiest, most formulaic way of doing it is having one person behind the other, and with the second person that's standing in front, or you're like, should I be standing? Should I be kneeling down? Should I be laying down? Honestly, it all depends on you, your body measurements, your comforts. I don't know, you could do the back shot on your knees in the bedroom. You could do it standing up, let's say, in a remote, I don't know, maybe you're in the middle of a desert and there happens to be a remote telephone booth. You can get in the telephone booth in the middle of the desert, do a back shot there. But essentially what it consists of is you doing either vag to peen or peen to vag or peen to ass. And then when you're about to come, when the fella's about to come, you pull it out, and you, instead of going inside, instead of depositing it in the butthole, instead of depositing it in the vag, you'd squirt on top of the back. Booty cheeks, back hair, lower back, mid back, shoulder area. People have asked, I've had callers call in and ask, you're like, I got it on the neck, does that count? The back, yes, the neck is on the back, so it does count. You're like, what about the back of the head? Again, technically you are, it's a little bit of a gray area. It depends which region you're in, different judges like to, give, we're trying to get it all to become like one way of measuring. But so I'm going to say for our sake, for keeping things simple, yes, if you do land on the back of the head anywhere, also considered a back shot. I would say that, yes. You're like, what about lower back? What about anything like, again, booty also counts, definitely does count. If you land on the back of the booty, which doesn't really even have a front. So if it lands on the booty, yes, then that's a back shot. You're like, what about, oh man, I missed, it dripped, it got on the back of the thighs. That too does count because it's on the back of the thighs. You're like, well, what about knees? What about if I miss and get it on the knee? Again, it's on the back of the knees counts. And moving forward, if you're like, man, I got that short range, I can only get it up to the knees. I can only get it up to the knees or the calves at best. I can't go further up. The calves is a little bit, the calves are a little bit hard to get, and I get it. Calves, if it lands on it, also considered a back shot. You're like, what about the back of the heel? Yes, the Achilles heel. If you get it on the Achilles heel, still considered back shot. What is not considered back shot? Let's say you've prepped. Let's say you're like, I'm gonna, maybe you've measured it. You're like, it takes me roughly 57 pumps and her 61 clenches in order for us to get the optimal squeeze and burst and back shot. But then as you're about to pull out and as she's about to, release, she turns to the side and it lands on the side of the thigh. Does that count as a back shot? I'm afraid you failed. I'm afraid your entire lovemaking session is now ruined down the toilet. You might as well have not had sex. And it is, you've landed on the side of the thigh. No, it does. If you get on the side of the knee, that is not a back shot. If it gets on the, what if she sneezes and comes at the same time and then, lets go of your cock, flips, rotates, lands on her pelvis, lands on her ribs. Not a back shot. Again, once again, you failed. It's very simple, guys. Ladies and gents, the back shot indicates that you land on the back. Now, to get the best performance, I would say practice makes perfect, or close. There can never be perfect. There can never be the perfect back shot. You're like, oh, but what if there could be? And I'll leave you to that thought for just a second while I grab my coffee. I'm back because I said it'll only take a second, and here I am. Could you get the perfect back shot? Well, I thought about it, and when I think about things, I know other people are thinking about it too, which is why I dug inside myself. I sat down, I thought long and hard. I went online and did a lot of research. Listened to a lot of phone calls, answered a lot of emails, faxed out a whole bunch of faxes to places and locations and numbers that I had no idea where it was even leading to. Making correspondence, sending Morse code. And I don't even know how to send Morse code, so who knows what I sent out. waiting for pagers to be paged, waiting for people to just get a feeling inside their body, maybe inside their mind, sort of like an intuition sort of feeling. Am I getting a message of sorts? Maybe, because I sent it out. I was asking, is there a way we could remedy this so that we could end up with the perfect backshot? And I came up with a conclusion, but came up with a solution because I saw a problem and I solved it. Let me ask you this, fellas, ladies, when you are out there trying to, when you're trying to urinate, for example, especially fellas, what helps you, especially in public bathrooms, in order to be able to land a little bit more accurately? Oh, maybe a little bit of a marking in the urinal stand, maybe a little bit of a designated area where it's like, funneling in. So, if you aim for the hole, that way you could actually get a better accurate shot. What if I told you that there were, what if we could make it so that there was a way you'd have a target? And that's when I came up with the X marks the spot temporary tattoos for the perfect backshots. I've produced this temporary tattoo. It's just a simple, you lick it and stick it on. And it's a temporary X. You place it anywhere on the back. It'll give you an indication as to where you're supposed to land. So that makes it much easier for you to actually aim and shoot your shot and land where you like to be. So you get these tattoos. They're, again, removable, temporary only. It'll last maybe, 72 hours up to a week. We did get a couple of complaints because some of them did not come off, people, because it was in the, we were eager to get the product out, I'll say this. So we should have probably done a little bit more testing. To those people who have not managed to get the temporary tattoos off their backs, sorry, but not sorry, because you're welcome. Now it's clear as day as to where your partner's supposed to land his shot. So you're welcome out there. And you're like, I wasn't looking for X marks the spot, backshot tattoo, at least not on a permanent basis. Well, you got it now, all right? And we're just the company that's trying to start out. So if you can just be quit being a stickler about, is this tattoo to rub off or not? It's just live your life, all right? That's what I'm trying to say. So you get these tattoos, you place it on anywhere you like, on your butt cheeks. You can get multiple. You can, because you can have multiple backshots. One in each cheek, left cheek, right cheek. A little bit, you like it, can you aim for the, I like it to be in the, I got two dimples on the back of my, lower back. Can you aim there? And it's just like, I could, but I wish I had something that'll make the spot stand out a little bit. Boom. Temporary X marks the spot backshot tattoos. So there you go. You place those tattoos on your lover's back, and next thing you know, you're pumping. You guys are fucking from behind, doggy style. And as you're about to come, you pull out, you look where the X is, and boom, let go. It'll definitely land on your desired destination. If not really, at least closer to the destination and the desired location. So no longer are we leaving it to just fate. No longer are we just like our ancestors, which did a great job, but really navigating through life blindly, not really able to see what's in front of them. And now we have the path. Now there's a blueprint. Now the map has been laid out. Now others have come before you and have paved the way. So you too can aim with accuracy and know that your jizz is gonna land on her back where you want it to be. Not in her hair, not on her neck, not on her shoulder, unless that's where your little heart desires to shoot. So landing the perfect backshot is not impossible. It does take practice. I don't want people to get, don't get discouraged. I know a lot of people try for their first time. You're like, I came inside her vag. Failed. It sucks. I know you were aiming for the backshot. You got a little bit, she's got to let go, unclench. You've got to pull out. You can't, you want it to yes, edging is good. Leave it to the last second. But if you wait too long, then you come inside her, then it's like, what are we even doing here? You know what I mean? Wasted energy and time. We were just looking for a backshot, and now, so all that being, and you're like, what about, and this could be, I'm talking about specifically hetero, but obviously, you could definitely do it in dude to dude, you could do that too. I would assume it works because it's still, you're jizzing on someone's back or cheeks. That works. Ladies, You could, it's just you ladies could perform back shots as well. You know, it'd be a little bit more messier. Obviously, you're not going to get that accuracy as the fellas. That's just, you know, we can, you know, we can circle around how we could change things, or like how we could, you know, but that's just the way it is. You could do it though. I'm not saying don't. I'm not saying don't try. I'm not saying it's not. It's different. It's just different is what it is. You're not going to get that, oh, right in there, right between the cheeks is where I wanted it to lay. It's a little bit, it'd be a little bit more smeared. It'd be a little bit all over the place, but that's okay. That's all right. It's the intent that counts. And again, that's why we have different categories. That's why we have different, you know, male back shots versus female back shots. That's why we have different categories. If there's, you know, competitions, you can't, you know, there's a difference, clear difference. And that's the way it is. So please don't get discouraged if you're just like, oh, yeah, I don't get much range. Try drinking a lot of water. Try drinking a lot of water. That might help build up a little bit more fluid, thus building up a little bit more velocity. And you want to come with the, you know, it's velocity times viscosity to the power of 7, you know, carried at 2. It's actually all basic physics. It's math. Essentially, it's just, if you break it down to the simplest forms, it's math, really. It's just a simple mathematical equation. You know, try to look at what's inside the brackets. Fix that first, solve that, add, subtract. You guys know what you're doing out there. So that's the thing. Do not get discouraged. Drink lots of water. Sometimes people have drank way too much water. So do not drink too much water either. Because then it just becomes, then you're soaking wet. Then it's all over the place and you're like, where did it land first? Again, failed, right? And having sex, you're looking for a back shot. Now you thought you're gonna come, but you drank way too many. It's just like, you know, you drank a Powerade, you drank a Red Bull, you drank some coffee, you had some water, you drank a, you know, soda pop, you drank a little bit of the whiskey, you drank a little bit of tequila, you drank all the liquids. You went out there and, you know, grabbed a bag of milk. You grabbed a bottle of orange juice, whatever. Your bladder is filled, and now that's the thing. And you're like, oh, great, I'm gonna be able to get the range that I want, but it's just too much range, too much, and that's the thing. Too much of range is not necessarily a good thing either. And honestly, if you do drink water and it doesn't work for you, cut back on the water. It's just it's a little formula which you got to figure out for your body. Reduce the water intake. It might not be, the quantity might not be as much, but we're not looking for quantity here. We're looking for quality back shots. Don't be looking for, oh, I got to get a whole lot of it at a whole lot of, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Honestly, have fun with it. Again, people you're like, what about my aim? My aim isn't good. Practice, please. It's a lot of people showing up to do your 10,000 hours. Do not just be like, I'm gonna come in here and get the first back shot right in. It's not gonna work. Chances are it's not gonna work. Not that it hasn't, but it's just like you wanna make sure that you wanna stack your odds not against you, but for you. You wanna make sure that the system is working for you. So I say practice. Do not be discouraged. A lot of people want to try it, like first time back shots in the dark. And I get it. You know, you see the pros, you see the way the industry works, and you're like, man, I want to. And stop comparing, please. Do not aim for something that you see. They make it look easy. They've been doing it for a long time, and if it looks easy, just because it looks, it doesn't mean it actually is. And that's the trick. Because it looks easy, everybody thinks that they can turn on the lights. It's okay. Do not be maybe get one of those dimmer lights where like you could dim it either with a little dial, or if your house is like, you know, one of those tech houses, you could just be like, dim the lights, and it'll dim it, so you still have some sort of visual, so you're not just walking blindly into no man's land and it's just like, what is this? I can't even. Next thing you know, did you get it on my back? No. Where is it? And then it's on the palm of my hand. You landed on the pillow, and I put my hand on the pillow, and boom, it's all, you got your jizz all over the pillow and on my hand. So, and again, ruined. So do not get discouraged. Do not leave it to fate. Do not leave it to chance. There are ways, and again, get the removable temporary X marks the spot backshot tattoos manufactured by none other than your boy. No, you know, and that's the thing. so many great productions out there, so many great technologies being made right now, and we're on the cusp of breaking through to new realms. Together we can do this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I do want to say this. You're like, is there a way that I could get injured? If you're not prepared, stretch. I would say stretch. I would say try to avoid, and that's the thing. A lot of times, because people are eager to see if it lands on the back, they will turn. Your partner might turn a little bit too quick to check and see if it's on the back, and that's when I've seen it, man, 1,000 times at least, 150,000 times minimum. I've said people too eager, you turn too fast, and it lands on your eyes. It lands on your eyes, eyelashes, nose, nostrils, on your face essentially, because that you wait for the feeling. Wait for it to, don't rush into it. Don't just turn your back all willy-nilly without any heads up. Next thing it's in your face. And maybe that's what you don't mind that, and that's cool too. You're like, give it to me on the face. And you could do that, but that's not a back shot. Again, failed. You know what are we trying to achieve here? Back shots. Yeah, so and it's all good, it's all fun and games. No one's keeping score. No one's like, but you failed essentially if you're like. So that's a way to avoid injury. I've seen people, again, you turn your head a little bit too quick, lands in the ear. Next thing you know, you got to sit like 3 hours in the emergency room at the local hospital waiting to get checked out by a nurse or a doctor, and they come in and, what's going on, Mr. Johnson? Oh, I'm sorry, my lady's got some jizz in her ears and she can't hear anything. And the doctor's like, are you okay, to your lady? And she's like, I can't hear anything. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, you got jizz in your ears, that's why. So injuries, a great way to avoid them is do not make those knee-jerk reactions. Do not just act on emotion. Try to be a little bit more, pace yourself, breathe. Again, preparation is key. That's what I would say. So ladies and gentlemen, together we can achieve a lot, but that's neither here or there. In the meantime, I like to help raise awareness that I think it's time. I looked at myself and I saw that this coming summer, I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready to potentially become the athlete that I always knew I could be. And you're like, and that's the thing, a lot of times people put limits on themselves, and but you got to just look outside the box, and you got to just be willing to go into places where others are like, no, you can't go there. And that's what I decided to. I think it's about damn time that I start participating in the Special Olympics. I think I'm gonna, honestly, 34, feeling good, I feel special. A lot of and I think it's time for me to take a couple of gold medals. And you're like, which fields? Honestly, any field, it doesn't even matter. I'm thinking like, I'm thinking basketball in a wheelchair. I think I would dominate that shit. So please help raise awareness for able-bodied individuals participating in the Special Olympics. The Special Olympics, that's what the whole campaign's all about. That's right. So don't limit yourself if you're like, oh, athletes need to be between, you need to start from your teens, get into your early 20s, and you need to max out at your 30s. No, that is a myth. There's so many leagues that are available. So I think that I would definitely thrive in these Special Olympics. Maybe not events that like require strength, like, because some of them are strong, and it's not even due to training or anything. It's just the way it is. They're just that special. So I'm thinking things that, again, require a little bit more accuracy, require a little bit perhaps more endurance, hand-eye coordination shit. Oh man, I think I can, running. I could probably outrun anybody on the Special Olympics team. I feel good about it, but it's not just me out there. Please help raise awareness. It's a thing that they've kept for themselves, and everybody's like, oh man, we should. And that's the thing. I think we should open it up to able-bodied individuals so that we could go in there and just compete. Because at the end of the day, nowadays especially, which one of us doesn't walk around at least one point or another in their week and says to themselves, aren't I special? So if you felt it and you're like summer's coming and you're like, oh, I want to pick up a sport, I don't know what to do. Special Olympics is one thing that we could potentially do together. And yeah, some argue and say that this might take away from, Special Olympics competitors, the regular attendees of these competitions, and that might, take away their, it might take away their spot. They might not be able to get in. They might not be able to achieve what they wanted to achieve. And honestly, I see that as discrimination towards able-bodied individuals. I see that you're just being a hater. I see that we're a tiny community. The able-bodied people who want to compete in the Special Olympics, we're a tiny community, and you're just, I don't see why we can't participate in the Special Olympics, because at the end of the day, it's all about coming together as a community. It's all about where you're like, and you're focused on categories, and you're focused on like what is special and what is not special, and you're considering like, is it fair? Is it not fair? Is it fair that I don't have a medal? Is it? Exactly. So quit being selfish. I've decided to put my name down, and I'm going to compete in the Special Olympics. Whether it's, I don't even know if it's this summer or not, but if it's next summer, I'll be even more prepared. God, I'm going to be even more prepared. If I take steroids and compete in the Special Olympics, I will, every sport, even maybe the ones with the strength, I will get up there, dude. You think retard strength is a thing? I will get up there, dude. Able-bodied Rob 35 on steroids? Let's go. I've got, just a year to just inject myself with everything. I think we can I think we could do a sweep, dude. I think I can come out with like 47 medals. But again, this is just a dream. This is just one man's dream, but I know there's others out there as well who'd like to compete in the Special Olympics. So please, if you know a family member that's not so special, but thinks they can do it, be supportive. Instead of saying no to Jimmy, instead of saying no to, Sally out there, instead of saying no, say yes. Be a team player. Support your family members, support your friends. And yeah, let everybody just compete together. I see no harm. I see no foul. I see it just as one large competition. And again, might we lose some competitors to abled bodies? Yes, but at the end of the day, we don't want to discriminate. So I think that's the best way to go. I think that's the best way to go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, speaking of the Olympics, I was just thinking that we should have we should create a new Olympics of our own, outside of sports, called the Piss Olympics. The Piss Olympics is a way that, men and women can now compete together in the Piss Olympics. It's a category where it requires agility, resilience, the determination to succeed, hours of concentration and practice, and there's going to be different categories. In the Piss Olympics, you'll have the opportunity to, one, test yourself to see how fast you can piss. Test yourself and see how long you can piss. We have marathon pissers that will just, the competition will go as long as we can push it. We are aiming at a minimum. If we're doing marathon pissing, we're probably going to be at the minimum. The bar is set at 3 days. So if you think you can piss for 3 days straight, and you were always kind of shy about it, and you were always kind of trying to find your place, find your crew, find your clique, find your community, and you're like, where could I go that I could piss for 3 days and not be made to feel like I'm all by myself? You're not by yourself. There are others like you, and together we can put you in the Piss Olympics, and you can piss for 3 days and break a record. Perhaps go for 4 days. Why not even 5? Hell, I'm not gonna put a limit on it. Maybe even up to 7 days and 7 nights. You're like, is there anything else in these Piss Olympics? Of course there is. How fast can you fill up bottles and cans and jars and glasses with your piss? How much piss can you hold? That's another thing too. A lot of people are like, well, is it just about the release of no? How much water, how much liquid can you take, and how much can you absorb and keep it in? So piss withdrawal or piss, withholding piss, that's another category. you know, piss, but also will make it so that like, can you, there's gonna be so many categories. Can you piss on yourself? Can you piss on other people? How far can you piss? How little can, how close to yourself without getting on you can you piss? Uh, Once the piss lands, does it make a splash? And these are the little teeny tiny little details that we look for in the Piss Olympics to see that whether or not you got what it takes to be a piss athlete. So yeah, a lot of people can make, can drop a drop, but if it makes a large splash, we're looking for clean droplets. A droplet or two, or a puddle that'll leave no extra little, nothing spraying to the side, nothing getting on anyone's shoes. Can you piss without getting anything on your shoes? Can you piss only on your shoes? These are all the different categories, but not, there's so many more. And that's one of the things that I thought about that we could do together to bring, once again, the community closer, get a little bit of friendly competition, hand out a few more medals, and really have a fun time. Please, if you've been practicing by yourself, pissing into cans, pissing into jars, trying to piss into, trying to, say that you're standing across a little bucket across the room from you, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna piss from one side of the room into this bucket on the other side, and there's nobody there to watch or look, or now there's the time for you to stand out and shine. Now there's gonna be a spectacle. Now there's gonna be an audience. Now there's gonna be a streaming process. You know what I'm talking about? It's gonna be live stream. It's gonna be nice. And you can bet on these things. You can bet on it. You can gamble on this shit to see who will stand out at the Piss Olympics to be the ultimate pisser. That's right. If you know somebody, or if you yourself are somebody who thinks that you've got what it takes, or you know somebody that they think they got what it takes, prepare yourself. The Piss Olympics is going to be the next best thing, right there. We're doing it. Stepping into sports, entertainment, a little bit of just, putting people in tight situations to see how they respond. All of it. All of it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you like slippers, and you also like to take, and if you also like to take precautionary measures as to go and defend yourself out there in the mean streets or in the nice streets, and if you like slippers, what if I told you that your slippers could now become, potential defense weapons, but not like weapons, but like defense weapons? What if I said you could wear your slippers, but we could design slippers that actually have maybe metal toe slippers, or sharp-edged slippers, so that if you're walking, let's say you're walking down the street, it's like 3 a.m., you've had a couple of brewskis with the ladies and the gents, and now you're walking home, and now a whole group of hooligans and gangbangers are now circling you, trying to get your wallet, trying to get you to take out your wallet, trying to get you to undo your watch and hand over your watch. What if I said you came out with pointy slippers or metal toe slippers, and as soon as you walk up to them or they walk up to you, just back up a couple of them, and just tell them back up, and then you just fling your slippers in their face, and boom, that'll buy you enough time to get away from the scene. Once again, saving lives, changing lives together. And that's the thing, a lot of people debate as to whether or not you should wear slippers outside, or just shoes or boots or high heels or roller blades or ice skates, or and skis, or should I wear what's the best, do I get fins and walk with fins? No. If you want to be able to defend yourself, know that your best answer is the metal toe slippers. Yes, you could just be regularly walking, but at any moment you can fling a slipper right off your toes and into someone's mouth if they are threatening you. And if that's the case, know that we've got your back. Know that we're out there producing, coming up with products that are available to consumers all around the world to go and feed the holes that hole needs to be filled right there, doesn't it? So there we go, feeding the holes together. And again, it could also turn into a sport. Maybe we'll do a sport, but it could also be like a defense tool in your tool belt of defense tool kits. So that's the thing. You could actually you could walk around with your metal toe boots, and if there's like, let's say there's a target, let's say you set up a little target, you could just fling your little metal toe slippers and see how close you get to the target. And it takes practice. It'll be a new thing. It's never been done before. And it's one of those categories where it's like both leisure and active. It's both pleasure and work. It's both life and death. It's both comfort, but also utility. It's both for families, but also for singles. It's for everyone, really. And think about it. I think slippers or, you know, sandals were probably one of the best types of footwear out there, actually. You know, good enough for JC, good enough for Jen. And speaking of JC, happy Easter, I believe it's Easter. If you're celebrating out there. And so that's one of the things. Good enough for JC, it should be good enough for you, but we've also improved it. We made it metal. And with spikes, think about that. You're welcome out there. Tired of showing to gambling dens and losing tons of money? I know, exactly. What if I told you there's a better way? Instead of losing money in gambling dens, illegal gambling dens, now you can go ahead and bet your bet, place your bet, but instead of putting money, you can actually, as collateral, use family members. That's right. What if I told you you can now use family members as collateral in gambling? Now you can. Adult children, put them up as collateral. Older family members who are, you know, questionable for whatever reasons, collateral. A distant cousin, collateral. Your stepdad, collateral. Do it. Instead of, because a lot of people, don't want to participate in gambling because they're like, oh, I lost a lot of money, or, oh, I've not yet lost a lot of money, but I would like to maintain my money. Save your money. Put your family as collateral. It's much easier. There's a physical, tangible thing. It'll be good to just switch things up a little bit, just because, and the best way to do it is do it without them knowing. Go place bets, as leverage, say that you're going to drop off a cousin. You're going to drop off a cousin if things, you're going to win, but if not, you will drop off a cousin. I think it'll just work out really great for everyone, a learning experience, whether you win or lose. And you're always winning. If you look at the grand picture in life, is there even any losing for any, so you learn if one thing, if it goes wrong, you learn. Now you lost the cousin to the, Chinese triad. It's, next thing, 6 years goes down and he is now in Beijing, dude. He's now in Beijing. But next thing you're visiting China and you got connects. Your cousin can't get out of that life because, indebted now, but that's the thing. But now you got connects in China, or Mexican cartel. Yes, really, the underground, the underworld. Do it instead of because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to carry cash. I don't want to put anything on like a credit card or anything. I get it, which is why I came up with this solution. You got family members, brothers, sisters, children. Grandparents? Grandparents make the best collateral. Where are they going? You know what I mean? Put them up. So, ladies and gents, it's just, there's so many ways to do different things. And I'm just here to say that together, we're doing it. On another note, I'm a little bit, my heart goes out to, because I like all sorts of genres of music and art and this, that, and the other. And, I like gangster rap. I like rap in general. I think right now is potentially a little bit of a difficult time for the rap community. Maybe not so much the community, maybe just individuals. I'm talking about Diddy right now. There's, allegations and this, that, and the, I don't know any deets, to be honest, but there are allegations of whatever. And it's just like, trafficking. That's one of the things that's going around is, and it's going to be hard on the community, and the gangster rap community is going to be, because a lot of, a good portion of it, like you got to be pimping. So if you're like, and that's the thing, people would, a lot of times, especially in gangster rap, like you can't like rap about things that you've not done, because then you come off as a fugazi. Then they're like, then you can't be like, I'm selling mad bricks, but if they find out you're not selling mad bricks, then you're like, what I'm talking about? So if you're like, oh, big pimpin, but if you're not actually pimpin, it's not good for the street cred. So it's a sad day for rap, because I think it's kind of we're at that age where it's like, we're kind of like, where, you can't go just trafficking is, it's a thing. But I like to help. I like to help the community if I can in any shape or form. I say the way we could maintain pimpin' and gangster rap going, because your boy's a fan, always have been, always will be. I say legalize it. Legalize it. Now, in terms of like underage trafficking, that's a different story. Don't do that. I think we can negotiate. I think we can compromise. Underage, anything, no. But overage, I say legalize it, because like once it falls into the category of like, oh, it's illegal, we can't, and people get the services anyway. People go and sell puss or sell cack. So it's like, it's one of those things where if you make it illegal, now it falls into the hands of the underground. Now it falls into the hands of the underworld. Now it falls into the mafia is controlling it. Now it falls into like, and it's like, it's one of those things that's as long as time, or as old as time itself, or just really old. Maybe even before, we probably had prostitution before we came up with time. So legalize it. I think that's one of the best ways to encourage, and that's the thing. I think you get more self-pimping, which I think is probably the way to go, because that way you could just be like, I'm an adult and I'm gonna pimp myself and I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna feel good about it, and there's no legal issues, and you can set your own rate and not be worried about whatever. But now if you make it illegal, it becomes a whole like issue of you're trafficking, this, that, and the other. I don't know too many things about anything really. And really, one of my answers to a lot of things, whenever I see things that are like in need of assistance or maybe bettering a little bit, I'm like, legalize it. I don't know much about it, but I'm like, legalize it. It just feels right inside. I don't know why. Legalize it, because I think it just makes sense. Why not? If you have adults willing to pay for something and also willing to be paid for something, why not? It would actually eliminate a lot of. But that's the thing. It would that too still would kind of be a downer for the maybe rap community, or like specifically gangster rap, because if it's like legal and then you're like, oh, I'm big pimpin', it's like, yes, but like so is everybody. So it's not as gangsta essentially, because like if it's everybody's doing it, then it's just like so your choice really. If you want to keep it illegal so that we could maintain the we can maintain the gangsta and the pimpin' and keep it legit for because you want your art to be pure, or at least as close to pure as possible. Not to say that you do, maybe you don't, and it doesn't even matter. I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't. It's not a matter of, and it's better or worse, I don't know. All I'm saying is you want to make sure at least that if you're like rapping about something, like next generations, if you're like coming up pimping about, like talking about pimping, and you can't be pimping, or you literally, so it becomes a thing. I'd hope to see it become legal. I hope to see that, ladies out there, or the gents out there who would like to sell peen or vag or buttholes, I think that's the best way. So legalize it. Legalize buttholes, legalize the vag for sale. I think that makes the best sense. And and I don't know how you could market it yourself. I don't know how you want to like pricing. I have no idea. Maybe do it by weight, 20 bucks per pound of veg. I don't know how it's gonna, or like, or 75 dollars an hour for, just like pre-cum. You know what I mean? Just, and if you want the full cum, then it's like 120 or like whatever. I don't know how you're gonna like set the rates. I think it should just be left to, if we're talking about free market, if we're talking about free market capitalism here, and you want to just like get rid of, essentially you want to get rid of like red lines, essentially you want to create competition. I think competition leads to, but then competition leads to better services for lower prices. But you got to come up with creative ways and to make your puss or your cock like really get get its value. And I'm not here to tell you what to set your value, because like that, you know your own worth, know yourself. That's what they say. So you could, if it's a free market, you could put up a badge one time, $1 million, one time badge, and you could do it if you like. Or you could distribute. You're like, I don't want to come to success too quick. Maybe I want to spread this thing out. Then do it again. You could again do it by weight, do it by height, do it by yeah, you could do it by like, you know, time. You could do it however you like. But that's the thing. I just want to say that it's a sad day for the rap industry, for the gangster rap community, because this is gonna be, you know, a lot of it is like, you know, not a lot of it, but a portion of it is, you know, you got heavy duty drug dealing, you know, maybe a little bit of involvement in like gang activities, you know, arms trades. I'm not talking about like, you know, forearms, hands, wrists, you know, elbows. I'm not talking about human body, but I'm talking about, you know, arms trading, like guns, machine guns, weapons, those kind of arms. So it's like, you know, gambling, drugs. We've already said that, but that's the thing. I don't want to see like one category specifically. Pimping is it's gonna be a hard time for a lot of new up and coming rappers, younger generations, to be, you know, getting that full experience with that. But I don't know. You could, I guess, you could go under somebody and like mentor or be mentored rather, but like also, you know, it comes with it's a territory. It's a territory that's like people are like, no, don't legalize it. Legalize it. Don't legalize. It's one of those things. I don't know. I don't have the answers. I think legalizing it will help. But that's just me. In terms of, you know, where would it be best? You know, I say we legalize it in little bits. Maybe legalize it like a little bit. Maybe like during certain hours of the day, legalize it and just see how it goes. And then take the, you know, people are going to be like self-employed, and there's going to be you can tax it too. That's the beauty of it. If people are like, I guess there is taxation issues, but it's one of those fields where it's easy to like, I guess it's difficult to tax that shit, because somebody could be like, I'm not pimping at all. I'm not pimping at all. I'm not selling my puss. I'm not selling my cock. But on the DL, they could be selling their puss, and they're not calling it in. So but then again, I'm not even for taxation that much, to be honest with you. So but whilst we're on that subject, get rid of income tax up to a certain limit at least. Solving all sorts of problems with one podcast. Cracking all the jokes in regards to all sorts of topics. Yeah, get rid of income tax at least for, you know, 100,000 and under. You shouldn't pay income tax. Really, that's my personal opinion. Especially in this day and age, if you're making $100,000 or less, you should not pay any income tax. Legalize prostitution. You know, and just, you know, shout out to the pimps out there holding it down. But also, again, trafficking. It's become challenging. So please help raise awareness. There are communities out there that need your support. You know, also hashtag Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF. Hashtag free SBF. I don't know, it just feels right for some reason. Hashtag free SBF. Also, I hope you're all doing well. It's Friday. I said we're gonna have a loose day. It's gonna be a fun little hang. And that's what we do, baby. That's what we do. So once again, if you're out there and you're wondering, how could I better improve myself in my life? These are all the areas where you could be, you know, dabbling in, practicing, whether it's your backshots, whether it's, you know, forming a bond between active footwear and sports, and also self-defense, delving into, you know, just pimping or gang affiliation, or, you know, or rap music or gangster rap or just music in general, or so essentially whatever you're doing out there, we're all doing it together. I think that it's, you know, it takes all, but also it takes one. So change is possible, and together we can make it happen. I hope that you're all, you know, soaking in, you know, just jacuzzis filled with yogurt. That's what I hope for you this coming weekend. I hope you fill your jacuzzis, if you've got them, or your bathtubs with yogurt, and taking long dips in yogurt-filled bathtubs and jacuzzis. Why, you say? Because one, I feel like it's one of those things where it helps, you know, rejuvenate skin. It helps you gain a stronger immune system. It helps you feel like you're covered in, you know, bodily fluids, male or female, it doesn't matter. It's all white. So it makes you feel a little bit like, even if you're not, and you were like, man, I wish I could feel like I'm covered in puss juice up to my neck. And honestly, I think yogurt is probably, if not the numero uno contender for you know, female vaginal fluid like substances, you know, a second close at least, or a top 5 for sure. Either that or milk. You could just do straight up milk, but that'll, you know, if you have milk, you could eventually get to yogurt. So if you're like, what if I want to experience both? You could definitely do it. This is not just, yeah, please do not just limit yourself and be like, oh, I gotta like grow up to be like a, you know, fancy schmancy person to get, you know, to be bathing in chocolate or milk. Or you could do this on a regular basis. So fill the bathtub, and you could eat it too. You could eat it too. You could mate in it. You could rest inside of it. You could just like, yeah, I don't know why we're not taking more yogurt baths. It's an overall net positive the way I see it. It's aesthetically, if you take a picture or make a video covered in head to toe in yogurt, I think it's one of those, you know, conversation starters for sure. Things that might get you, you know, a few friends. But also, if people walk away from those friendships, all of a sudden, from you revealing pictures of you in a bathtub filled with yogurt, maybe they weren't as good as a friend as you thought they were. So go ahead and try it all out. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for being with me here today on Friday on this blessed day of days. If you're out there, you are out there. So shout out to you. Thank you for joining me. If it was your first time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You're like, what did you get up to in here? Literally nothing, but also everything. Life and death. Extremely high concentrated topics. Extremely, this, that, the other. The most sought after podcast. One of the most exhilarating podcasts out there. That's what this shit is right here. It's right here. Wednesdays and Fridays on Instagram. Follow me there. Subscribe on the YouTube channel. That's the best way to help yourself and help your boy. And check out patreon.com/RobSadri if you'd like to fiscally, financially support the show to see it grow right before your eyes. And I'll be back here again next Wednesday. Please have yourselves a fantastic weekend. Have fun out there. You silly motherfuckers out there. I love you all. Thank you for being a part of my life and letting me be a part of yours. Peace out. Get out of here. Go.